Okay, so in the last lesson, we talked about what absolute value is, and we started solving very basic absolute value equations. So the first thing I want to do is review what we did last time. So to solve something like absolute value x equals 6, that's asking what number or numbers have an absolute value x minus 6, and we know absolute value is the distance from 0 on the number line. Well, if we look at a number line, 0, positive 6 is 6 spaces away, but so is negative 6, okay? It's negative 6 is 6 spaces west of 0, and positive 6 is 6 spaces east of 0. But they're still 6 spaces. And like we said, absolute value tells you the number of spaces away from 0. So x is going to be 6 and negative 6. Okay, so and the absolute value equations usually, not always, have two solutions, right? A positive value and a negative value. Okay, absolute value x equals negative 6. That's asking what number or numbers are negative 6 spaces away from 0. Well, there is no such thing as negative spaces, okay? Again, you're either going west, left, or right, east. There's no such thing as going in a negative direction. Okay, so this is no solution. Okay? And lastly, to solve an absolute value equation, we need the absolute value bars isolated. Okay? They're isolated here, but they're not isolated in the third example. So we want to subtract that 1 first. So we're going to get absolute value x equals 5. And then what number or numbers have an absolute value of 5? That's going to be positive 5 as well as negative 5. Okay, so we're going to continue solving some more advanced absolute value equations. Okay, so you want to start by asking yourself, are bars isolated? Okay, and number one, they are. All right, we have absolute value 2x minus 6. We don't have anything else on the left side with it. So what we're going to do, we're going to create a positive equation. I'm going to write absolute, I'm going to drop the bars. I'm going to write 2x minus 6 equals positive 4. And then I'm going to write 2x minus 6 equals negative 4. Because like up here, absolute value equations have a positive solution. They have a negative solution. Okay, so let's solve on the left. 2x equals 10. So x is 5. Oops. That's one of the solutions. And 2x equals 2. And x equals 1 is going to be the other one. Okay. Number 2, again, the bars are isolated, so we're going to set up two equations. You're going to go 3x plus 9 equals positive 6, and 3x plus 9 equals negative 6. Okay. So 3x equals negative 3. So x is negative 1. X equals negative 15. So x is negative 5. Number 3, you should notice that the bars are not isolated. Okay, if I circle the bars, they're not alone on the left side of the equation. We need to get rid of that 10 first before we can solve. So I'm going to subtract the 10, giving me absolute value x minus 7 equals 12. Now I'm going to drop the bars and I'm going to set up two equations, the positive equation and the negative equation. So my positive equation is x minus 7 equals 12. Negative equation, x minus 7 equals negative 12. Okay, now it's easy from here. X is 19 and x is negative 5. Okay. Number 4, you should notice that the bars are not isolated. We have this negative 7 in front of them. Okay. You can think of the negative 7 as multiplying the bars. So what we want to do, and I'm going to rewrite this so I can see it better. Okay, we want to get rid of multiplying the bars, so opposite of multiplying, of course, dividing. I'm going to divide by negative 7. Okay, so we have absolute value x plus 6 equals 11. Now, it's like what we did before. I'm going to drop the bars. I'm going to make two equations. My positive equation, x plus 6 equals positive 11. Negative equation, x plus 6 equals negative 11. Okay, quickly solve. X is 5, and x is negative 17.